Have you ever struggled with feeling unheard or unseen in conversations? And are you tired of struggling with confidence when it comes to expressing your opinions? Well, that's why I'm here. We're going to uncover the techniques that you can use to empower you to learn to speak your truth without fear and embrace the power of finding your voice. So, grab a pen and paper and let's get started on finding your voice and speaking your truth with confidence. Hey, Diva. Welcome back to my channel. And I know that's right, with Natasha Knight. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Natasha Knight. Think of me as your favorite unapologetic diva who is here to help you fill your cup of confidence and inspire you to embrace your most authentic selves, bask in self-love, and harness that divine feminine energy, honey. So if you haven't already joined the Diva family of confident, unapologetic people who live out loud, please make sure that you do so by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you get a notification every single time I upload a video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Please also don't forget to like, comment, and share. And let's get started with the video. All right, so before we kind of segue into the amazing techniques that I'm about to share with you, we're first going to have to start with understanding assertiveness. And so, first, let's start by defining what assertiveness means. So, assertiveness is the ability to express your thoughts, feelings, opinions, and needs directly, openly, and honestly while still respecting others, because that's the key. It's not about being aggressive or passive, it's about finding that balance. And once you know the difference, you're already one step closer to speaking your truth. So now that we've understood what assertiveness means, now it's time for us to go into our first part of it. So the first tip is muting other people's voices. And so I'm going to explain what that means. So, a lot of the times when we have negative self talk, or yeah, we're speaking or talking negatively about ourselves, a lot of the times it stems from us hearing other people's voices. Some of our first experiences in life from childhood come from our caregivers or people that have watched us. So it could be our mother, our father, our grandparents, our aunts, our nannies, our babysitters, our teachers, even, right? Like these are people who, when we're very young and we're very malleable, especially in those elementary formative years that are super imperative for us, if we're told, what's wrong with you? Are you stupid? Or anything like that? Or, oh, that's dumb for you to have that type of dream. We automatically take these voices of other people or our bullies in the past, right? And we are hearing their voices. A lot of the time, the negative self talk actually has nothing to do with us and our opinions. It's the opinions that are kind of forced onto us, whether it was intentionally or not intentionally done. It causes a lot of harm. And there's like this famous saying where it's like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never harm me. And that's a big bull-faced lie. Because as we know, sticks and stones can break our bones, but our bones can heal. And we won't feel that same pain ever again. But words have so much power that if someone tells us something nasty or something hurtful, it's something that we carry for the rest of our life. It's something that we think about, and we'll tend to like ruminate on it over and over and over and over. And it's really incredibly harmful to spew hateful things about people, right? But as human beings, sometimes we get frustrated and we get annoyed and we say these things and we take them as a one off situation, or, oh, it's just something that I didn't really mean, but it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that we spew and that we say to other people does matter, because at the end of the day, it will hurt them. And so words will always harm us. And so, that being said, a lot of the voices that we hear, of all of these things that we feel like we can't amount to or we're worried about, stems from our very early years, and it stems from us hearing other people's voices. So the first step to kind of remove that like negative self-talk is from us muting other people's voices. All right, so that's the first step, and now we're ready for the next one. All right, so now that we have muted our inner critic by muting other people's voices, it's time for us to know our worth. So one thing that you have to do is believe in yourself and understand the value that you bring into conversations. Okay. And so start by acknowledging your strengths and your achievements and accomplishments. So, what we're going to do is we're going to write a list for ourselves of all of our accomplishments and our strengths, big or small. So, an accomplishment or an achievement that we can have that might be small to you, but is big and impactful for someone else is, for example, if we were walking into the grocery store and we saw an older woman and she's walking a lot slower than us, and we hold the door open and wait patiently for her to get in, that's something that is a powerful action, because at the end of the day, doing things for others is how you make an impact in this world. And so there's a lot of things that are accomplishment that does not have to do with educational things like getting a degree. You don't have to get a degree to be accomplished and to be successful in this world. I think that's the beauty of the day and age that we're in. Not saying that you shouldn't prioritize education, but education also doesn't stem from putting yourself thousands of dollars in debt. So that being said, you want to make sure that you're making an impact and that you think about all of the things that are your strengths. Because at the end of the day, having our inner critic, we can have the longest laundry list, longer than a CVS receipt, on things that are our weakness and things that we're not good at. But we're never here to focus on that, because we got to be delusional and we got to make sure that we're focused solely on our strengths. And so by focusing on our strengths, that's going to help us to understand that we've achieved a lot in life and that we've accomplished a lot in life. And so, yeah, so we're going to write a list of the strengths that we have. We're going to write a list of accomplishments that are big or small. And we're going to look at this list every day for the next few weeks. And we're going to see that as we start to know our worth and believe in ourselves and boost our confidence by acknowledging the things that we refused to acknowledge before, we're going to notice that we feel completely different within ourselves. So now we've gone through tip number 2, and now it's time for us to go to tip number 3. So now that we've worked on muting other people's voices and knowing our worth, it's now time for us to step into step number 3. And step number 3 is practice active listening. So, what a lot of people fail to realize, and I have also been guilty of this in the past, is that effective communication is a two-way street. And so, what that means is, just like you want to feel seen and heard in the conversation, it is the exact same thing for the person on the other end. So, what that means is that you have to practice actively listening, not listening to rebuttal and have something and just only talk where the other person cannot get a word in. You want to learn something, because in a lot of conversations in life, we actually learn a lot. And so, as human beings, we tend to be very black and white, but there's a lot of gray area in life. And so, if we come from a place of understanding when we're having conversations and we're respectful to the other person, it leaves this very safe space of open dialogue. And so when we're talking to the person and they're saying, like, they're expressing a difference of opinion, it doesn't mean that you look at them in disgust and you pull back and you automatically shut down. You want to come from a place of wanting to understand what experiences they've had in life that has made them have this very stark difference of opinion. And so, that being said, if you ask and you say, okay, so what is it that made you come to this conclusion? And you ask, it makes them feel a lot better. And then in the end, both of you are both seen and heard. And you can leave the conversation agreeing to disagree. Because again, it doesn't mean that you have to jump ship from what opinion you have, but it also means that they're also not going to do the same. And being respectful of that is how you have effective communication. And active listening is a very, very huge part of that. And so if you are paraphrasing and asking clarifying conversation, like clarifying questions, then they are automatically going to know that you're listening, and it's going to make them let their guard down. And so that's what's really, really important for conversations. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer here and say that when I'm expressing difference in opinion, I am not in any way, shape, or form talking about something that is incredibly demeaning and disrespectful, such as racism and other prejudice things and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not a difference of opinion, that's ignorance. But that's for another video, okay, and another time. But yeah, so like I said, as long as they are not making snarky, like they're not insulting you, using derogatory terms, um, and saying racist things, you should be able to hold space for another person to share their experiences and share their opinions on things, and understand that their opinions on things really is not a reflection of you. Okay? So now that we've gone to step number 3, we are now ready for number 4. And so now that we have followed those 3 steps, now it's time for us to go into the section of body language matters. And so body language matters because body language it adds value to a conversation. So if you see somebody standing tall or sitting upright and maintaining eye contact and using open gestures, these nonverbal cues help to enhance the conversation and enhance your message with being clearer. So if you see somebody that is just talking and they're just slouched and they're like, yeah, my opinion is that the sky is blue and the grass is green, you're going to look at them and be like, not really sure if I believe you, even though what they're saying is true, right? But if you see somebody sitting upright and you see them engaging with you, where they're maintaining eye contact and they're saying, yeah, so for me, off of the experiences that I've made, and this is obviously a nonsense conversation, but follow me because we're going to get somewhere, right? So just off of the experiences that I've made, I noticed that the sky's blue and the grass is green. Like, you're going to be like, wow, really? Even if it's something so obvious, just because of how engaged they are. And so body language is super important. So when you're talking to somebody, you don't want to turn away from them. You want to make sure that your body is facing them. With certain things in the conversation, you want to kind of lean towards them just to kind of hear, to let them know that you're listening to them, that you're trying to hear them. What else? It's like you want to point towards them, maybe mimic them a little bit just to kind of let them know, like, I'm listening to you, I hear you. So body language is super, 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 super important, just like active listening is. And now we're ready for number 5. So now that we've gone through those 4 steps, now it's time for step number 5, which is using I statements. So a lot of the times we tend to come from a place of defensiveness and, ooh, not them arguing, not the birds in the background arguing. Sorry, excuse my lover birds, Jade and Topaz, they're ridiculous. But anyways, so that being said, you want to use I statements because when you use I statements, it allows you to take ownership of your feelings and your emotions and to express it um, assertively. And that's what we want, right? We want to exude confidence, and part of exuding confidence is expressing things assertively. And so if we use I statements instead of, let me give you an example. So instead of being like, you always interrupt me when I'm talking, and that's why I don't want to talk to you, you could change it and say, I tend to feel, or you know what, I feel unheard whenever I'm interrupted. Could you try to see if it's possible for you to not interrupt me? And in that way, it's going to be a lot better. And it's not necessarily you coddling the person or you walking on eggshells, but it's about assertiveness. And part of assertiveness is expressing the things that you need and your feelings openly, directly, honestly, while still respecting others, because being respectful is key. And if you use this approach, it is going to lessen the likelihood of defensiveness coming from the other person, and it is going to promote constructive conversations. So obviously, like I said, this is dependent on the level of maturity and emotional intelligence and emotional maturity that the other person has. But if they do have that, and there's someone that takes easily offense to things, it's a lot better for you to utilize I statements as opposed to you do this and you do, because it makes the person feel like you're berating them. It makes a person, it could trigger the person into feeling like, oh, you're talking down on me. So instead of talking down on the person, you talk about yourself and how you feel when certain things that are disrespectful to you occur. So I know I haven't always done this in the past, but I definitely noticed that through therapy, and these are some of the tools that I learned through therapy, that I noticed a huge difference when I communicate, and how effective the communication is from using I statements instead of being like, you always do this and you never wanted this. No, we're not here to make the other person feel good, because all it's going to do is cause them to either walk away or shut down. And we don't need them shutting down, because then they're not going to listen to us. And then we're not going to have effective communication, which is what we want. We want to express and find our voice and use our voice without offending and being disrespectful. Even if we feel disrespected, does not mean that you have to go about doing tit for tat and disrespecting the other person, because that's how you cause a point of contention as opposed to actually getting the issue resolved and allowing the person the space and the ability to try and attempt to give you what you need by respecting you. Okay, so that's tip number 5, and now we're ready for tip number 6. So now that we have gotten through those 5 steps, we are in step number 6. And step number 6 is rehearsing and role playing. So, like I said, record yourself in front of your phone, in front of a camera, sit in front of a mirror, and practice all of these steps that I gave you. Practice removing the voices. Practice the list, repeating the list out loud to yourself of your accomplishments. Practice knowing your worth and understanding that you add value to conversations and all of these things. And so when you use all of these steps, it is going to help you significantly in finding your voice. Because once you remove other people's voices and you realize that all of these negative things that you have to say are not your voice and your dreams and your goals and your ambitions, you're able to find your voice and speak with clarity and be assertive and exude confidence. So, yeah, practice and role playing and rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. And eventually you're going to get to a point where it's going to be second nature to use I statements. It's going to be second nature to express yourself in a way that is open, direct, honest. Because at the end of the day, your truth is your truth, and nobody can take that away from you. People may try to shut you up, but when you're a confident person, you know how to speak, and you know that nobody can shut you up, because at the end of the day, speaking your truth is super important, and finding your voice is a huge part of that. So, on that note, I'm going to close this video. It was a lot of fun recording, and I really hope that you enjoyed the tips and you kind of see how they're actionable steps for you to take, and that I know that these techniques will work because they work for me. But I am so excited to hear from you guys. So please don't forget to join our Diva family of confident and unapologetic people who live out loud by subscribing and hitting that notification bell, honey. Do not be shy. We are not shy over here. We work on our shyness, okay? So yeah, make sure that you do that, and don't forget to like and comment comment which are the tips that you like or that you resonated with or that you feel like really spoke to you, and or something that you're excited to try. I'm excited to hear from you. If you want to, please feel free to DM me, not me deem, saying deem. Ugh, anyways, please feel free to DM me on my Instagram at it's Natasha Knight, and DM me some topic ideas or how your thoughts on the videos and things like that. But also don't forget to leave a comment. Leave a comment, okay? I want to read them. I read them all. And so, yeah. And feel free to send me an email if you want to. I'm going to just put her here, put my email address here. I am Natasha Knight at gmail.com. So, yeah. I really loved doing this. This is super fun for me. I love holding workshops and things like that to like in training to like help people. So it's really nice to be able to do it now on a platform as big as YouTube. And yes, I said the because I put the in front of everything because I'm extra honey, extra extra. Read all about it if you couldn't already tell. But yeah, that being said, that is the end of the video, and yeah, I'm going to end it with my normal motivational quote because you guys need it. So remember, divas, loving yourself is the first secret to happiness. So be your own reason to smile. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.